And we're going to start off with our first words from Dimo Koko, who will open the proceedings.
And warm greeting to all of you from Pasila. Haaga-Helia has now been 2 months in a distance mode, and it's been okay. We don't like it, but we have been forced to do this because of the situation, global situation. The feedback both from the students and staff has been somewhat positive, but we also understand that there are challenges, and I guess everyone is already willing to come back to normal as soon as possible, and that we will do that as soon as we can make it safely. So far we have made the decisions regarding the coming summer, and we will continue in the distance mode. However, we have eased up a little bit, so our staff has already a possibility to come and work to the campus as long as they follow the safety regulations. And what comes to time after August 1st, we will make those decisions around midsummer, either before or after midsummer. I know that many people are anxiously already waiting what kind of guidelines we will have, but we will follow how the global situation will level. But you all understand that we ease up situation as soon as we can make it. So we hope for the best. I think it's a fantastic that you arrange this kind of occasion event, end of semester event, and I send my best wishes to all Porvoo students, to the staff in Porvoo, and of course all our collaborators and partner companies. Porvoo has done a good job, and lots of fantastic things are happening in that campus, and there is a very good cooperation with the local area as well. So I wish you all a fantastic Helatorstai, first of all, tomorrow, and then of course a fantastic summer. And to our students, I would like to say that please do not forget to study, because those of you who are not working as much as you used to be, you have lots of time for your studies, and we try to provide all Haaga-Helia services online so that you can proceed as smoothly as possible. And also I wish patience to all of us, because we actually really are waiting for the situation when we can again travel, fly, meet our friends, and even hug them. So we hope for the best. So my warmest wishes, and of course to Darren, to you especially, thank you very much for putting this with your colleagues together, this kind of event. My warm greetings, and now formally this event is now opened.
Okay, thank you, Dimo, for the lovely words. And first of all, just to follow up with Dimo's words for the opening, I would like to say that we did this because it's obviously been a very tough semester for everybody. It's been very different. Even now, I'm speaking here at Porvoo campus. It's completely empty, and it's strange to be doing this, but this is the reality of the times. We've got a really interesting lineup for you today. I'm going to just quickly share my screen with you and just show you the agenda and some of the guest speakers' profiles. Okay. So what the way this is working today is that we've got this obviously being streamed live on Facebook, and for those viewing the event, you can actually take part when we do the panel discussion by posting comments, and these will be picked up and shared with the panel guests, and you'll be able to give those. We'll take a few sample questions. As you can see, we've got quite a lot of different guests on today, and the next person coming up quite soon is a pre-recorded video from Marriott, who's got this second-hand and vintage online company, and then we have Jani Darvinen from Fly Nora and Kimmo Mäki from Vanavia. We then will have a panel discussion with the following online guests. This will be completely live, and they will be answering questions that I'll be forwarding to them. So we have Fira, who's a lifestyle blogger, Valtteri, we've put here as an entrepreneur and gentleman, and Anu, who's a sustainability expert and tourism professional. We then will have a presentation by our colleagues here at Porvoo, Sirpa and Annette. They will be sharing their results of a recent survey that was shared a few weeks ago, or questions sent out. And then we will have Heppo, we'll have Jutta doing a presentation about some of the student life here at Haaga-Helia. We then will close the whole proceedings at approximately 14:55. This will be when we have some closing words from our Porvoo campus directors.
Nimeni on Maarit Kautto. Olen Niinmaa Second Hand Vintage-vaatekaupan perustaja ja omistaja. Yritykseni myy laadukkaita ja pääosin kotimaisia vaatteita ja asusteita sekä verkkokaupassa, fyysisessä kivijalkamyymälässä Porvoossa sekä suoramyynnillä Instagramissa. Mä oon kirjoittanut tälle yritykselle liiketoimintasuunnitelman jo 17 vuotta sitten opiskellessani vaatetusalaa Helsingin ammattikorkeakoulussa. Jos mennään nyt ihan semmoiseen hassun kuriositeettiin, niin mun ensimmäinen idea tälle yritykselle on tullut 90-luvulla Seinfeld-nimisestä sarjasta, jossa Kramer möi jotain 70-luvun kauluspaitoja naiselle vaatekaupassa. Ja mä silloin jo ajattelin, että mä voisin olla se nainen, jolle niitä vanhoja vaatteita myydään. Idea on sitten kypsytellyt parisenkymmentä vuotta mielessä ennen kuin 2016 irtisanoudun päivätyöstäni ja lähdin toteuttamaan unelmaani. Vaatetusala on öljyteollisuuden jälkeen maailman saastuttavin teollisuuden ala ja sen hiilijalanjälki on isompi kuin laiva- ja lentoliikenteen yhteensä. Nyt kun koronakriisi iski vahvasti vaatetusalan kivijalkamyymälöiden myyntiin, kevätmallisto jäi käsiin ja sitä jouduttiin dumppaamaan ulos hurjilla alennuksilla. Parhaimmillaan sitä kevätmallistoa on poltettu, koska sitä ei ole saatu myytyä. Siihen ihmiset on heränneet, että se ei ole millään tavalla kestävää toimintaa. Mä ajattelin, että mä pystyn muuttamaan sitä systeemiä sisältä päin onnistumatta siinä. Niin jossain vaiheessa se tuli vaan, että niin kun, miten mä sanon sen, että kaikki tai ei mitään. Et pakko lähteä yrittämään, koska jos mä en tee sitä, niin mä kadun sitä koko loppuelämäni. No, mulla on aina ollut vahva visio, että niin mua olisi jonain päivänä valtakunnallinen ketju. Osallistuin ja voitin Itä-Uudellamaalla järjestettävän Uplift-yrityskilpailun tuossa lokakuussa 2019. Ja sitä kilpailua varten nämä tavoitteet oli pakko kirjoittaa alas. Ja tavoitteenani on tosiaan seuraavan 10 vuoden sisällä avata Suomeen 8 Niinmaa myymälää. No, se on sillä tavalla muuttanut suunnitelmia, että tosiaan askeleita sinne ketjuuntumisen suuntaan ei ole otettu niin vahvasti, että lähestulkoon kaikki panostukset on siirretty täältä fyysisestä myymälästä sitten sähköisen liiketoiminnan markkinointiin. Et se on ainakin yksi selkeä suuri muutos, ja kyllähän se on kantanut tulosta, että verkkokaupan myynti on kasvanut, mutta se jää silti, totta kai kun puhutaan tämmöistä yksilöllisistä vintage-vaatteista, niin kalpenee fyysisen kivijalkamyymälän myynnistä. Meillä on myös suunnitelmissa parin vuoden sisään rakentaa oma sovellus näille vintage-vaatteille. Ja sen lisäksi mä olen alusta asti painottanut sitä, että nykyajan yrityksen pitää olla monikanavainen. Et meillä on ollut alusta asti fyysinen myynti, verkkokauppa ja vahva some. Ja myydään siis ihan suoraan somen kautta. Nyt kun koronaepidemiatilanteen takia fyysinen myymälä piti hetkeksi sulkea, niin meillä oli silti 2 vahvaa jalkaa, jolla seistä. Sen on huomannut, että kuluttajat on myös kriittisempiä sen suhteen, että mihin he rahat käyttävät. Ja haluavat suosia kotimaista ja pienyrittäjää, ja se näkyy sitten positiivisena tuloksena verkkokaupan puolella. Mun ohje ainakin kaikille yrittäjyydestä haaveileville on se, että sulla on pakko olla vahva visio. Ja kaikki päätökset ja toimenpiteet, mitkä sä matkan varrella teet, niin niiden pitää tukea sitä visiota. Jos ei sulla ole sitä visiota, sitä päämäärää, mitä kohden sä teet töitä, niin sä teet matkan varrella otat hirveästi mutkia. Mutta kun sulla on se kirkas maali, niin sitä kohden on helppo pyrkiä. Laatu on aina muodissa.
Now, the next guest we have is the Managing Director of Fly Nora. This is Jani Darvainen. And I met him yesterday online for a quick interview and asked him some questions. So I'm now going to share his interview with me to you now. Thank you, Jani, for joining us here at Haaga-Helia for our end of semester event. It's great to have you here.
Thank you.
And I'm going to go straight to the chase and ask you a few questions about Fly Nora. And first of all, I'm going to ask you, how are you generally doing with things with this whole situation of coronavirus?
Thank you for asking. In general, I'm doing fine. But I have to say that I've seen the impact of 9/11, SARS, Morgan and Stanley's collapse, and even the ash cloud of Haaga-Helia. But I have to say that this corona pandemic is totally something else, and the situation has required additional efforts from the team. I'd like to have a great team in place.
What is the current situation and your thoughts about the future with Fly Nora, with this whole situation and the impact of how it's been in aviation?
Yeah, well, at the moment we are definitely in the middle of the biggest civil aviation crisis of the history. That's obvious for everyone. Naturally, also our operation have suffered a lot. Currently, we operate maybe 20 or 30 flights a day. Typical number is maybe 150, 160. So just a minor portion of the capacity is utilized. Situation has required also a lot of mitigative actions, and we have executed a lot of them, including temporary layoffs and also other means to ensure the cash and in order to take care of mandatory obligations we have in that sense. So that's a mandatory thing. And at the beginning of the pandemic situation, there were awful lot changes in place, and they had to do with the travel restrictions and the schedule operations in generally. Also quite a bit requirements set by the authorities, and we had to match and take those things into account when planning the operations and executing the situation basically.
What kind of opportunities have you seen with this whole crisis? Has there been anything that's taken you by surprise in terms of making a new opportunity for the whole company dynamics, or how the company can operate? Has there been anything you've been able to do differently?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, there's not so much good in the pandemic in general, obviously, but the change is always an opportunity. I mean, that's also a thing, and the dynamics within the company is something I would like to share. I mean, I think that at least in my opinion, the whole personnel has recognized and understands the situation really, really well, and we all work towards the same goal, and which is a survival through the crisis, and that's what we do, and that's I think that the team spirit is present when people are talking to the people, even though that the situation hasn't brought too many good things on the table. Yeah, there might be some opportunities. I mean, I think that the airline or the aviation world won't be exactly the same. There will be changes. There will be changes within the competition. Not all the airlines will survive through the pandemic. And even though that I do truly understand that there won't be any vacuums left if somebody leaves the market, and if there's a demand, somebody will enter into the business, no doubt about it. But it changes the picture, and that's changes in that respect. It's also an opportunity. Secondly, I think that the way of working will change. So it has been estimated really that the no not a single airline won't be the same when talking about airlines who survive this situation. And I think that there will be disruption, some sort of an positive disruption also. It may have to do with the digitalization or utilization of data or something completely different. That is something I'm looking quite very interestingly and would like to be part of the disruption as well in a positive way.
What message do you have for our students at Haaga-Helia?
Well, I would say that even though that there are a lot of uncertainty in the air, nobody knows exactly, nobody has the crystal ball and can tell how the future will look like. But I'm 100% sure that the air travel will recover. The demand to travel and to fly won't disappear. And most likely there will be, even though that most likely there will be a relatively long transition period. Somebody has estimated it may take 2 to 3 years to reach the figures of 2019. But after that, we should be back on track again. And I think that this is an area that will grow, will have a bright future also after this event as well. And next time, if something like that happens, we are probably much more prepared for that as well.
Our next guest from aviation is Kimmo Mäki, CEO at Finavia, and I did the same, very similar questions to him yesterday, and he answered the questions just like Yanni did. I'm going to play his video.
My name is Kimmo Mäki, and I've been working as a CEO of Finavia for almost 3 years now. And it has been so hectic years. So we have been booming all the time, growing very fast, investing a lot, developing customer experience, many things which we have been doing. And suddenly we are totally different situation right now. So everything what we have been doing is a bit, we have to look a bit different angle than and what should we do for the investments and should we still trust for the future. But all a kind of analysis is or we are thinking that we are trusting the future, so we are still quite happy here. I'm also thinking that this will go over, and in a few years we are in the same situation, same path as we were before this crisis, and then it's also giving me a kind of confidence that this is the right thing which I'm doing. And secondly, I have to say that it has been changing the way we are working. So a lot of remote working and different kind of meetings, which have also given me a possibility to think about issues from a bit different perspective, and also spending some time with my family as well. So not so much traveling during these months. So, but anyway, I'm still happy being here, and I trust for the future, and we are still hoping and making sure we are sure that this will go over.
So we're in such a big organisation here in Finland, Finavia. How are you coping with this situation? Obviously, it must be quite difficult to be responsible for so many people and in such short time period to have all these things suddenly change. How are you coping?
Well, yeah, there are many issues related to this situation. One is, of course, this kind of passenger safety. How to make sure that they are not getting the virus, and to make sure that all the locations are clean and the safety distances and processes are working so that people are not getting too much crowded. So this has been one very important issue. Secondly, our big organization is we have in the group almost 3,000 people working there. So how to make sure that the safety is there with them. So we are now using masks, and we have divided our organization into groups. We are doing more remote working, but still we have people which has to be there in the place. It has to be there to give customer service and that kind of things. And it has been quite different kind of task what comes to the leadership and also management, and there is not a kind of ready solutions or answers. So we have been learning all the time, and we have very tight management team. So we have daily meetings. with teams, and we are now all the time re-evaluating, is the thing which we are doing now right or not, and we are all the time listening and hearing some new information, which is slightly changing the approach, how we should behave and go on. But luckily we have been quite successful. So not so many kind of bad things which have been happening here. So yeah, in that perspective, quite happy.
And what are your thoughts about the impact for the future? How do you think? What do you see as maybe some of the key changes looking ahead?
For sure, traveling will be totally different. Well, will be different after coronavirus crisis, for sure. But on the other hand, the reason for traveling is not passed away. So for sure, we will be growing once again, but perhaps processes at the airport with the airlines will be different. And we have to give the confidence for the passengers that this is safe way for traveling, and traveling is safe in the future as well. And this is which is changing things. I believe that the first step should be to have the virus in control, and it looks like it will last perhaps to 2021. But I assume that we will have this will be over. And secondly, one thing is that these restrictions should be overall as well, and then airlines and industry should be recovering as well. So add more capacity, add new services, perhaps not same kind of services as before. There's might be a need for different kind of services as well, where people are feeling a bit more safe and not so crowded locations and so on. But then one thing is that when the people are willing to travel, when the economy is rising again, because this industry is so strongly related to the development of economy, so that is one thing as well. But we have to be active, we have to think things about differently and try to understand what kind of demands passengers have in the future. And this is one thing which we are doing all the time.
What messages would you like to send out to our students in this difficult time?
Well, I'm sure that traveling and the industry is growing in the future. It has the future. It hasn't vanished anywhere. I think that you should have trust. You should focus developing yourself, and you should use this also as an opportunity to understand that things are changing fast, and in the future even more faster. So this is also a good opportunity to learn, to understand, and what kind of forces there are in the industry, and what kind of things are happening for the different kind of companies. But I understand that having the good connections for connection and getting into the business life is not easy at the moment. But I'm sure that following years will be easier, and I'm sure there's a need for new skillful employees which are coming from the school.
We're going to now move on to our live panel discussion, and as I said earlier, we're going to have Valtteri, Veera and Anu join us, and this will be completely live. We've been monitoring the Facebook page for questions, so you can still post questions now if you wish, and we'll be trying to ask some of these questions near the end of the discussion. Okay, so let's see if they're now with us. We can see you, so we have Valtteri, Veera and Anu now online. If you'd like to unmute your microphones. Okay.
Hello.
Hello. And Anu. Right.
Yes.
Okay, so first of all, David Olua, welcome. Okay, this is going to be really interesting. We've got about 20 minutes to have a nice discussion about everything that's been going on. And my first question to all of you, and any one of you can answer this whenever you're ready, is how are you actually doing? How are you coping in this difficult, strange times?
There was a Twitter message or tweet which said that somebody went to the psychologist and wondered that why they are so okay with corona, and the psychologist said that if your childhood has been chaotic, then it's chaos where you feel at home. So I'm doing very fine. So I'm actually enjoying myself during the Corona crisis.
Vera?
Yeah, no, that's good to hear. For me, I think this has been a huge change because my normal life is traveling 15 times a year, maybe. So in the beginning, it was a huge shock, and I was like, oh my God, how am I going to cope with this? But honestly, I'm also fine. Like, after the first shock and the big change, I feel like also, like Janne said, like, crisis brings new opportunities, and I think slowing down in the end of the day is a great time for all of us to reevaluate both business and our personal lives. So I think while the pandemic itself is not healthy, the time to slow down is healthy for anyone.
And how about you, Anu? How's it been?
Well, I do agree a lot with Vera and Valtteri. Yes, first, yeah, my life has been changed as well because I was traveling in Finland quite a lot. I was spending a lot of time on trail when traveling by train to different parts of Finland because of my work. But now I have stayed at home, and I do have much more time for my own wellness and well-being. So I've been hiking a lot. I go every day doing footing, and so yeah, basically I'm feeling great. That's true. I'm having, well, I feel like I do have more time for myself now.
Okay, thank you. And that's really good to hear that there are obviously some positives to this, and that you're all coping relatively very well with the situation. And that leads me on to my next question, which I'll start with Vera first, is how is this affecting your business?
Well, in a way, quite dramatically. Like, most of my business is working with tourism boards and airlines and tour operators, and most of that includes actually going to the destination. So all of that came to a sudden stop. So basically everything I had kind of agreed on and like money I was relying on was suddenly just taken away. So that was a bit of a shock in the beginning, and it forced me to reevaluate and make me think of new ways of making an income. I've always worked from home when I've been running my business, like from home or from the road. So in that way, I'm used to like sitting on my computer at home all day. That's not new. But what I really appreciate that actually at the end of the day, like after that first shock, a lot of the partners that I work with, some of the airlines and the tourism boards, I think instead of like just feeling trapped, everyone's quite hopeful, and we're already making plans for 21. The only difference from before is that there's not like a specific date for when we're going to proceed, but I now trust that all these partners will pick up again, we'll be working together again. But right now we just have to get through this difficult time, but there is a lot of light at the end of the tunnel. So I'm feeling quite hopeful, even though the effect is quite dramatic for the right here and the right now.
And how about you, Valtteri? How's it affected your business?
I have two businesses. My personal business, Valtteri Lindholm Oy, isn't doing very good. In fact, this is my second gig after Corona hit, and I had been building a public sauna into Porvoo, and my funding was dependent on speaking jobs and so on, and that cut my funding. But then Varustelega is actually on a surge. We were making 40% more than we made last year in turnover. And while our shop took a big hit, our Finnish e-commerce more than made up for it, and then our exports have doubled. So, and we sell like 150% more to America than we used to. So when all the big companies have been relying on walking shops and neglecting internet, then we who have been making internet a long time, have been making good e-commerce and have been concentrating our marketing efforts to internet. We're like just collecting all the money that gets left over, because people will still want to spend. They just need effective businesses that can operate in internet.
That's really interesting to hear. It actually helps me think with this e-business course that I have here at the Porvoo campus, and students would be creating actually like e-commerce web pages, but this course has now been running for about 3 or 4 years. So it's quite interesting to hear that in some way, some companies that actually have some kind of e-commerce platform kind of have a bit of an advantage at this in this crisis.
Yeah, because you have to, if you want to make a good e-commerce, then you have to, it's a long process, and you can't just make up a web shop now that you're in crisis. You should have been doing it a long time. And we can see, as for an example, all the restaurants, they make really bad web shops because they've been made in such a hurry.
Okay, and I know you mentioned you travel a lot before this crisis. You were traveling a lot around Finland. So it'd be quite interesting to hear how this has affected you, especially the business.
Yes, well, I do have quite two different kind of businesses what I'm doing. So I do have the educational services, which are the most important actually in Finland company's business at the moment. And then the other part is offering guided tours for Spanish-speaking coming to Finland. So, oh, sorry, am I disturbing visibility?
We can hear you fine. It's just a little bit of interference, but we can hear you.
Okay, yeah. So, but yes, I'm lucky because when the crisis started, I thought that I'm not going to have all those educational services what I had already as contracted with different destinations in Finland, who then offer them for the tourism companies. But I was so lucky because the partners were very kind. So they started to call me, they started to contact me, and they asked me that, can you do everything online? Can we do this all online? And well, I didn't really have anything done, but I did answer from the beginning that yes, I can do it online. And that's what I've been doing now. So I didn't lose any work actually. I would say that even more work at the moment than what I was supposed to have this springtime. So I feel really grateful, and I have said it to my partners as well that they saved my life actually in this springtime. So yes, my business is running very good as well.
Okay, thank you. So this kind of leads me on to my next point then. So obviously Finland now is starting to slowly open up a bit, and things are now a bit more relaxed, and obviously many people, at least here at Haaga-Helia, we students, this is like the official end of semester, and some people will start their summer breaks. So looking ahead to the future, especially with the business side of your strategy, how do you see the next maybe 6 months further ahead in terms of your business strategy? And could I ask Fira to answer that one?
Yeah, I think if I think of the next 6 months, a lot of the projects that I had planned with my clients before, they will still continue to be on hold. But instead, I've been kind of, as a blogger, I can also work with companies that are not directly in the tourism industry, which kind of gets me going. But my heart always lies in the tourism industry, and I hope in the future that even if it's not going to be as much traveling, I feel like in general for the sustainability of my own health and the planet, I have traveled too much. And in that sense, slowing it down at least a little bit will be good for a lot of reasons. But I hope that I can still work in the tourism industry, or I know that I can more in like consulting roles, like consulting these destinations that I've worked with and the airlines that I've worked with, to see how we can get into the next step of getting travelers back on the road. And another thing I've been doing is also, and what I've seen a lot of people who work in the travel blogging world, is to develop more of their own products like e-courses. And I'm a professional photographer, so I'm doing webinars on photography. And a friend of mine actually, who is a travel blogger and like a tourism professional, she did an e-course on how to travel more sustainable. So I feel like there are a lot of opportunities, and now this was such a huge leap to the online world for every business. So I feel like all these kinds of e-courses and webinars and opportunities to do more consulting will be more relevant for me in the next 6 months, rather than actually going into the destinations to create like marketing material and stories and photos, which will probably pick up again in 21.
How about you, Valtteri? How about your business strategy? You mentioned it a little bit earlier, but maybe in the next 6 months ahead.
Yeah, my personal company business strategy is to finally come up with the video lessons. I've been holding lessons about marketing and so on, lectures, and obviously I can't do it because there's restrictions on how many people can be in one place at one time. So I now have a motivation and the need to make the video versions, which people have been asking for a long time. And when it comes to Varusteleka, we actually made the great decision last November to concentrate on America. So our main strategy this year is America first. We came up with that line, and it's been paying off really well, because it forces us to do things only in the internet, because obviously Americans can't come here, and then also marketing to Americans is nice because everybody speaks English, everybody understands English, and it's not only mainstream media that is America centered, it's also amateur media and influencers and so on. The biggest influencers globally are Americans, at least in our business. So when we have, for an example, invested in American influencers, and we're making like $1.5 million a year from other countries, not America, because of those American influencers. So actually, what we're going to do the next 6 months is do exactly what we planned to do before the coronavirus, and even more concentrate on bringing money to Finland instead of trying to make most of our money from Finland. And we are pretty soon at the point where our exports will be bigger than our domestic sales. And that has been a long time goal. I don't think we will reach it this year, but if things keep on going this track, then we will soon be a major exporter.
That's really good to hear. And obviously here at Porvoo campus and Haaga-Helia, we have lots of corporations and projects with business. So, keep us in mind, and we may have some students that will be able to kind of help you with some of the research or even the new market, penetrating new markets.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, kiitos. And Anu?
Yes, well, I keep on working, having the focus on my values, which are creative, inspiring, responsible, together with others, in good mood. And I'm developing new concepts. Well, I keep on offering the e-courses and webinars. I have still plenty of them, and I'm happy of that. But in the same time, I'm developing new concepts as well, together with other small entrepreneurs. And that's what I'm doing now. For example, the concept of Kauden Metsä, Love Forest Finland, is one of them. So I try to find new ways to work together with others as well. And I want to have partners who do have the same values based on responsibility.
Okay. Again, it really is. I mean, the theme of today was to hear a lot about positive energy, and it's obviously been very difficult for many people. So I already feel inspired from all three of you with what your plans are next and how you've been coping. So it's definitely working on me, and I'm hoping our online community also feel the same. And in regards to the online community, what messages do you have for them? Is there any messages you would like to give to our students who are obviously watching this and thinking about their futures and their studies? And this is an open question, so any of you can answer this. So any of you would like to kind of say a few words or key messages for our students?
Well, I can start. I was recently taking part into this seminar that was hosted by the CEO of G Adventures and the CEO Bruce. He said something that really stuck with me, and it was that, like, despite of the crisis in the tourism industry that this has created, this has kind of made the whole tourism industry to become like this global startup. Like we're suddenly starting all over again. And while it's difficult, it's an amazing opportunity for us to build something better than before. And also for that reason, like anyone graduating right now is, even if right here, right now, it's not that easy to find work in the tourism industry, this will lead to us needing like really good experts with a lot of knowledge in the tourism industry. And I think that creates amazing opportunities for us in the future.
Okay. Valtteri, Anu, I guess Anu.
Yeah, yes, thank you. Yes, I would, I agree a lot with what Vera was saying. And well, I would like to remind about hope. I'm wearing all yellow today because it's a color of hope and happiness, and it's the color of Mood of Finland as well. And hope is important, but then I would like to remind at the same time, that we need to be active. So have hope, but you need to be active, because without action, hope will stay like hopeness. Hope it doesn't go anywhere. So be active and brand yourself as soon as possible. Find your own skills which are different than others. I would say that these two things are important. Be brave and be positive, and brand yourself.
Really, really nice words, actually. Yeah, I really agree with you on those. And Valtteri?
Yeah, do you have a moment to listen about our Lord and Savior, the internet? Because if your business mainly relies on internet regarding marketing and maybe even sales, then no matter what the actual end result is, your business will do good. And even all the better if your end result can be converted to something that can be shipped or experienced in the customer's home. But even if you sell physical things, or you have a restaurant or whatever, you should be concentrating your marketing efforts online, because not only do they work now, also they are the most efficient, and they were already the most efficient marketing methods before the coronavirus. So that's the way to keep people connected, and this should be a wake-up call. And this is a painful wake-up call for all the businesses who didn't heed this message before. And also, I would like to point out sustainability, because as we heard about clothing, major clothing companies took a hit because people don't actually buy clothing that they don't need when they don't go outside. And that's a good example. If you sell stuff that people actually need, and not stuff that people don't need, but which will fuck up the planet, not only will you be a better person, or at least you will not be a bad person, but your business will also thrive in moments of crisis. And this is not the first financial crisis Varusteleka has been through. And financial crises have never affected us, because we have very clearly steered away from bullshit, and we only sell things that are actually necessary and will last long when you buy them. And this is also something that I hope that after coronavirus, the world will move on into. And I really hope that the big clothing companies that sell you stuff that you use once or not even once will go bankrupt. But that's just me being evil.
No, the words of wisdom, as we say in the UK. So I very much appreciate your words. I've just been following the Facebook feed for some questions. We're kind of running out of time for the panel discussion now, but I'll just quickly give a few of the questions. This is one comment here, just a comment to Valtteri. It's been really interesting to follow your corporation in Range TV. Good content, apparently pretty efficient marketing tool. So that was just like a positive comment.
InRange TV is a great example, because before InRange TV, we did everything right in the American market, and then we found the right influencer. And before that, we did something like 300,000 euros per year from America. And then we found Inrage TV. We did one video with them. And that year we made 1 million euros from America. So that shows, no matter what your business is, that if you find the right influencer and your stuff is good, and the influencer will actually honestly like it, then that's a good way to do marketing.
So influencers are also key in any marketing. It's like your message.
Yeah, and Inrage TV and Forgotten Weapons, which are two YouTube channels or video bloggers, they were genuinely interested in us, and they really genuinely liked our stuff, and that's why they were genuinely enthusiastic about us, and then it worked. But if we would have been just like everybody else, then nothing would have come. So you also have to do your own business really good for people to be actually interested. But after you get that, then influencers are really, really good marketing.
Okay, and then very quickly, just one other question that I've noticed on the Facebook page. This can be for Veera and Anu. You can answer this together. It's entirely up to you. So, do you think this might permanently change your business or your views on doing business?
Well, I actually hope that it will change my business, because I think changes are good. I think it's not good to stay doing the same thing all the time. So I'm trying to take this like, even though my company is a bit more than 2 years old, but even though I think it's good to change some every now and then what you are doing. So yes, it is a good option to make changes as well.
And Veera?
I'm kind of with Anu on that, and also like what Janne said from Norra in the beginning, like change is always an opportunity. It can be scary, but for me, I'm also glad to have this time to stop and really look at what I'm doing instead of jumping from a project to another. And it really makes me also appreciate like the opportunity that I've had to travel 15 times a year to like different continents from week after week, and to look at also the sustainability aspect of that more than I looked at it before. And I'm really quite more than worried. I'm excited about my business in the future and what I can do in that field, and how I can help the partners that I've worked with before from here where I'm sitting, instead of hopping around like a crazy person. So yeah, I'm definitely hopeful and excited, and I think the change will be only good in the long run.
Right, thank you very much to all three of you, and it's been really good for you to be able to make this happen and join us and share your thoughts and words of wisdom to our Haaga-Helia community and all our students. And I really do wish you have a great summer, and we'll be on your side we'll be following your businesses very closely, and obviously we're here if you want any collaboration with our students with projects. So kiitos paljon, and thank you for your time today.
Bye.
I'm going to quickly be moving on to, we did this survey, my Porvoo colleagues, Sirpa and Annette, they sent a questionnaire a few weeks ago to students, and they got some data, and we did like a presentation interview, and I'm going to share that with you now, and this is a summary of those key findings from their interview.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Annette Kairikko, and my colleague Sirpa Lassila is here as well. In order to plan the next semester and our future learning activities, it's important to know that how have you perceived this very unusual semester. And that's the reason why we did a study, a research, and you have been responding very well in this research. So as you can see, we got 25.3% of the respondents from the semesters or the start years 2017 and 2020, which is really representative number of Porvoo campus students. So first, some background information about the research. We asked what is your degree program, and as you can see, we got replies from all the degree programs. The highest number of respondents came from the tourism program, Porvoo. And the next question was that when did you start your studies? And we can see that the majority of you have started your studies 2019 and 2020, meaning that the results of this survey questionnaire, which are going to be used in the planning of next actions, is actually very valid for you, since you still have some years to study ahead of you. And now I give the word to my colleague Sirpa.
Thank you, Anette. So I'm now going to share you some of the insights that we found out through the survey. All in all, I could say that the responses were positive, and that's quite amazing, thinking about how quickly you actually changed from their face-to-face learning to online learning. So here you can see that in the beginning of this period, you considered yourself not so experienced in online learning, but you have learned different kind of competencies regarding online learning during these 2 months. And also, the overall attitude towards online learning is quite positive, as you can see. So the first 2 rows there show the most positive responses. And also you can see that the technical facilities you have answered very positively there. So you have good technical facilities to actually do online learning. So this is one of the most important answers regarding the survey. So we asked you that, was it actually possible to reach the learning outcomes also through online learning? And as you can see, majority of you considered that that was possible. But there are still a group of people who considered that the online learning was not, or through the online learning, it was not possible to reach the learning outcomes. And also these 4 questions focus on learning. And as you can see, the results in overall also here are rather positive. So you are pleased with what you learned during the semester, and actually the learning tasks enhanced understanding of the content. And the content and the skills were something that help you in the future. The learning activities also were something that actually promoted your learning. And here we can sort of have a look to the future. And these are, of course, a little bit concerning figures here, as this very different situation has actually made you feel a little bit anxious about future, and also anxious about your studies. And this is something that we really have to consider in the future. But most of all, importantly, that the semester all in all contributed to your professional development.
And then some brief results from the open questions. We also had several open questions, and thank you for giving us so many insights by replying in many words in those questions. We were able to identify on a roughly level 3 types of students, 3 types of perceptions regarding the COVID-19 period. So there were students that actually saw this time as an opportunity for their learning. So some of the quotes, like, it is easier since you can do it wherever. It's easier because you don't have to travel a long way. We also had a type of students which we would call neutral. For them, it was like business as usual, nothing extraordinary. The transition was smooth, I knew to expect it. But then there is a group of students whose perceptions were fairly negative, and I think we really need to take this seriously also when we are planning our further actions. And some of the quotes here, it was challenging for both students and teachers. It is less interactive and more difficult to focus. The reasons behind being or perceiving increasing level of stress or anxiety or loss of motivation, where partly, of course, also private reasons, not necessarily something that we here at Haaga-Helia could be having impact on, but it is a clear message for us that we need to understand the group of students who have perceived this unusual semester in this way. And same student could have also reported feelings from all categories. So this is like a continuum. So it could have first been very difficult and challenging, but then due to some actions, positive support from the peer students, for example, it has changed to a more positive experience. And then finally, our conclusions. We would say that the perception of the learning during the COVID-19 period has been rather good overall. However, there's a lot of variation between students and between degrees, which we will in a very detailed way study and also report to our colleagues and to the management. The same solutions do not apply for all the students at every degree, so we definitely need alternatives. And there is need clearly to enhance online communication competencies, and that applies to both students and teachers. So that was our presentation. Thank you for watching.
Okay, so thank you, Giuseppe and Annette, for sharing those results. We're running slightly over schedule, but I'm sure many of you agree this is not a problem because there's so many positive things being said today, and I'm sure that you, just like me, feel very enthusiastic about hearing all these different opinions and thoughts and some research results. So our next presentation is going to be Jutta from Heppo, and she's going to be joining us now to share some thoughts. Okay, over to you, Jutta.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I'm Jutta. I'm the chairperson of Heppo RU this year. It's great that we had time as well and the opportunity to come and speak for you. I won't speak long since I know we're going a little bit over time, but a little bit what's coming next in the student life and what have been happening now since the corona happened, because that changed a lot of our lives, but as well the student life in Porvoo campus. So we are the Porvoo Campus Local Student Association, if someone doesn't know, and we support students and we are trying our best to create activities that you can attend, since now everything got cancelled this fall, well, this spring. So for the fall, we have plans that we hope that we can still make it happen. Obviously, we need to see what the situation is. Like Teemu said before, we don't even know yet if everything's gonna be normal in the fall. So we are always seeing what's happening and trying to figure out some new ways. And this is also a good opportunity to make new ways to feel connected with other students and be creative with the student life. So that's what we're happening, and we are trying to give our services online as well as much as possible, and we are trying to make it happen as well in the summer as much as needed. We think that a lot of students obviously will be in summer holiday, but if needed, we can be contacted via online. So we still gonna be there for everyone that needs us. And for the fall, a little bit what's coming up is that we have the parties and other events planned. Hopefully it's gonna happen, but right now it's a really good opportunity for everyone to let us know what you guys would want, since now everything is a little bit open. So if you have something on mind that you would like us to organize, we are here to do it, whatever you want basically, or whatever we can as well. So we are happy to do that. And the biggest thing that I think we have today that we want to tell you guys is we are going to have few openings on our board for the fall. So we definitely want you. So if there is someone that is interested about making a student life in Porvoo campus and in Porvoo even greater than it has been, it is now your opportunity to come and help us to do that. You can send me an email, or you can join us on the annual meeting that we're gonna have in August, hopefully, if we can just go back to school. So August or September, we're gonna have our annual meeting, and then we can have 3 more people on our board. So we are happy to have you guys on board, and hopefully there will be people interested, and we can make the fall even bigger than the spring, since, well, didn't happen much. So hopefully we can see you on the fall normally, but if not, then we definitely gonna have something else planned for you guys. And for the summer, we're gonna have one thing for you, and hopefully that will make your summer even more fun. So stay tuned. We're gonna probably release it on Friday. So definitely check our Instagram and Facebook on Friday, and you can hear what's coming next on summer, and then of course what's happening on the fall. So if you not follow us yet on Instagram or Facebook, now you should, so you can keep updated what's happening next in Porvoo. Thank you, and have a great summer, everyone.
Thank you, Jutta. That was really good to hear. And please, for everyone that hasn't followed those social media links that Jutta put at the end, please check them out on Instagram and Facebook. Right, now we're right near the end, and I'm now going to be joined. We are going to be joined with wonderful Porvoo campus directors, Maya, Kitty, and Marlin. Yes, you're on. Right, okay, so we're going to have some closing words, and we're going to start with Maya first. She will share a few thoughts and closing words in Finnish.
Yes, thank you, Darren. Before I say anything in Finnish, so I just wanted to say a few words in English as well. For those who don't know us, so we are here 3 directors. My name is Maija Eklöf, and then my colleagues Malin Lahdensuu and Kitty Häkkinen. And because we are 3-lingual campus and we teach here in 3 different languages, we decided also to greet all of you in 3 different languages. So I will do it now in Finnish, Malin in Swedish and Kitty in English. Mä haluaisin ensin kiittää kaikkia meidän vieraita todella oivalluttavista, rohkaisevista, inspiroivista sanoista ja kommenteista ja näkemyksistä näinä ihmeellisinä aikoina. Ja ihan omalta osaltani mä haluan kiittää myös kaikkia opettajia jaksamisesta ja venymisestä, kun me tehtiin tämmöinen valtava digiloikka yhdessä yössä etäopetukseen. Ja tästä kuuluu kiitos myös kaikille teille opiskelijat siitä ymmärryksestä ja siitä, että te pystytte johtamaan itseänne niin, että etäopiskelu mahdollistui. Ja jopa niin, että meillä niin kuin enemmän opiskelijoita oli läsnä näillä etäopetustunneilla kuin luokkaopetuksessa. Mutta kiitos kuuluu myös kaikille Porvoon kampuksen muille työntekijöille ja tietysti mun kollegoille omalta osalta haluan kiittää Malla ja Kittiä saumattomasta ja inspiroivasta yhteistyöstä ja myös haluan kiittää omalta osalta Haaga-Helian johtoa yhteisestä hiileen puhaltamisesta ja tuesta. Nyt on siis ansaitun kesäloman aika ja me haluttaisiin toivottaa täältä, että muistathan levätä, muistathan ladata akkuja, pitää huolta itsestäsi ja läheisimmistäsi, koska taas voimia tarvitaan syksyllä, kun aloitetaan. Ja oli koronavirus tai ei, niin elämä jatkuu. Ja meillä alkaa täällä taas ensi elokuussa uusi lukukausi. Se, miten me aloitetaan, niin me ei vielä tiedetä, mutta me pyydetään teitä olemaan koko ajan yhteydessä Haaga-Helian nettisivuilla ja myös opiskelijan Mainet-tiedotuskanavissa. Välittömästi, kun me saadaan tarkempaa tietoa asiasta, niin me laitetaan se sinne. Tämä kevät on kyllä osoittanut, että meillä täällä Porvoossa ja Haaga-Heliassa on todellista can-do-asennetta ja mentaliteettia. Yhdessä tekemällä, toisiamme tukemalla ja toisistamme välittämällä me selviämme vaikeimmistakin ajoista. Ja näillä sanoilla mä haluaisin toivottaa teille kaikille rentouttavaa kesää ja nähdään elokuussa. Hej hej!
Hej allesammans! Jag ger ett stort tack till alla våra gäster för att de tog orden på vägen. Också ett stort tack till alla studerande och lärare och annan personal för ett superjobb. Livet går vidare trots coronaepidemin, men vi kör igång igen i augusti. Och vi kommer ge mer information på våra Haaga-Helia hemsidor eller på de infokanaler som studerande använder senare, så ni vet vad det händer. Kom ihåg att vila och njuta av sommaren och ta hand om dig själv, också om det nära och kära. Och fast det varit en tuff vår så har det samtidigt visat att vi klarar oss och vi hjälper varandra och stöder varandra. Jag önskar er alla en riktigt skön sommar.
Just to summarize and continue what my colleagues were saying, so a huge big thank you to our guests and for insightful and encouraging words. Yeah, I think at this time of the year it has been really important for us all, and of course for the whole spring, for our partners, for relentless cooperation that we have experienced together despite of all the alterations and changes we needed to make to the way we work and to the way we study. And of course, like Maya and Malin were already saying, so a huge big thank to you students and our personnel, whole personnel here in the campus, and our colleagues that have been supporting us for resilience and these mega leaps to virtual and remote learning that you have all done. And as this spring has shown us all, every cloud definitely has a silver lining. So we get through even tougher times when we stick together and when we support and care of each other. So if something this spring has showed us as that. So keep very well, stay healthy, you and your beloved ones. And we see you all in August. So have a very good summer.
Okay, thank you, campus directors, and that now brings the whole online event to a close. And I'd also like to say thank you to all my colleagues for making this happen, and I wish you all a lovely, restful summer, and hope to see you again in August.
Also, don't forget to listen to our podcasts over the summer. You can listen to these on Spotify, Apple Podcasts and Podbeans. Instructions are on this slide, and there's lots of interesting content on there.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, bye-bye.